Hey, I was at a wonderful event yesterday at the Benton Events Center. Is the Benton Area Chamber of Commerce in this community just gave honor to all of those who have served or are serving in the armed forces. But as I stood there, I made a note that I would do this for the benefit of everybody. If you have a cell phone with a really catchy ringtone to it, for the next 45 minutes, could you silence that? Just for your benefit and everybody's benefit here today. My name is Matt Brumley, and I am the Saline County judge. And it is an absolute honor to be here today to serve this great county and in part this state, this incredible nation. While I have never served in the armed forces, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to those that have made that decision, as I heard yesterday, to recognize each and every person here is worth it, to serve, that those that have gone before us are worth it to recognize and carry on their legacy, and that this great country, the greatest in the world, is worth it to serve. I look at these young people that are here today, and I'm gonna just call y'all out here in a moment. But I want to ready ourselves for something that I hope we never take for granted in any event that we go to, but especially today. That when our colors are presented, that we look at those colors with great pride and a sense of memory of what they actually mean in the people that have served under those colors. Once these colors are presented, I'm going to have Reverend Walt Garrett, a soldier of this country, come forward and pray and give invocation, because we're always going to keep the main thing the main thing. Then there'll be a pledge, and that will be followed by a national anthem by the Bryant Junior High Choir. And then you'll see me again, and I'll have you seated once the colors have left this area. If you will, please stand as we present the colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Push record.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets were glad, the bombs bursting in air, came through the night, that our flag was still there.
Can they see?
Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? For the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wasn't that good? The Bryant Junior High Choir, or students from Harmony Grove and Glen Rose, leading us in the pledge. In 1954, Congress established Veterans Day, a day to honor veterans of all U.S. wars and armed services. And today, I'm humbled to see this community gather together for this great event. This doesn't just happen. There are many people from all over this state and all over this community that have come together as we are here at the Bauxite Community Center and Museum, which over 100 years ago, because there was an idea that a community would come together, a bustling community, and build a community center for all of those to enjoy, to gather, to have a library, to have a place for events. This building was built in 1925 and dedicated in 1926. If you Google it, it'll say that Alcoa built it. But it was the people that worked at Alcoa in this community that built this. It was the people that worked at Alcoa that said, we will have money taken from our paycheck so that people 100 years from now can sit on this lawn on a Veterans Day and honor the great people of this country. The next person I'm going to introduce is Karen Mitchell. And Karen and her team have been doing something just absolutely incredible. Uh-oh, I've already messed up. Now I want to say that I've gotten to line number 6 before I mess up. And I will introduce Karen Mitchell right after this. Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Page was born on June 22nd, 1978 in Little Rock, Arkansas, and graduated from Benton High School, a Fighting Panther, in 1996. He earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Arkansas in 2002 and an MBA from Webster University in 2013. A doctorate in executive leadership from the University of Charleston in 2019, and a master's in strategic studies from the U.S. Army War College in 2022. He enlisted in the Arkansas Army National Guard in 1996 and was commissioned as a second lieutenant through Officer Candidate School in 2002. In 2004, he deployed to Iraq, and that is where he served on Task Force 1-9 CAV as a fire support officer for Company 1, the 1st 153rd INF. His assignments have included many. Lieutenant Colonel Page has been awarded many things, including the Excellence in Competition, Bronze Pistol Badge, Distinguished Rifleman Badge, Combat Action Badge, and he's received the General Douglas MacArthur Leadership Award in 2007. I am honored and pleased to introduce to you Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Page.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here in Saline County as we celebrate Veterans Day, a day that belongs to every man and woman who has ever worn the uniform for the United States of America. Today's ceremony, From Mines to the Front Lines, reminds us of something truly remarkable, how Bauxite, Arkansas helped power victory in World War II. Think about that for a moment. A small community right here in our own backyard played a vital role in shaping world history. While soldiers fought overseas, the men and women here mined the bauxite ore that became the aluminum for America's planes and ships. They served the country with hard hats instead of helmets. And if you've ever worked in the summer here in Arkansas, that's a different kind of combat. That same spirit lives in our veterans today. I had the privilege of serving with Charlie Company, 1st of 153 out of Mena, Arkansas. It's a light infantry unit. We were on Haifa Street in Baghdad, Iraq in 2004. Those streets tested everything we believed in: courage, trust, and unity. What carried us was our bond between us, the belief that our mission and each other mattered. As a field artillery officer, I learned that every mission depends on teamwork. When everybody does their part with discipline and trust, great things happen. That's true on the battlefield, and that's true here today. So as we unveil this Arkansas 250th historical marker, let it remind us that freedom isn't only won on the battle, in a battle. Sometimes it's mined from the ground, built by hand, and carried forward by people who refuse to quit. To my fellow veterans, thank you. Thank you for standing and watching, for serving with honor, and remind us that our nation's strength has always come from its people. May we live in a way that honors those who never made it home. May God bless our veterans, the people of Bauxite, in Saline County, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Dwayne Page, for those remarks. Now, one of the people we've been waiting for. I've known Karen Mitchell for a few years, and I've seen her and her team go around this county, serving in a great way, in a way that signifies that you who have served our country are never forgotten and shall always be appreciated and honored. I want to introduce to you Karen Mitchell, who serves by deploying these never forgotten quilts of valor.
I'm Karen Mitchell, with Group Leader for Never Forgotten in Arkansas, Quilt of Valor Group. We award quilts to veterans and active members to thank them for their service. It's an honor. Quilt of Valor was founded in 2003 by Catherine Roberts, and she had a dream about her deployed son struggling with his war demons. Then she saw him with a quilt wrapped in comfort and warmth, healing those war demons. To this day, Quilt of Valor, they have over 600 groups in all 50 states, thousands of members, volunteers, that we couldn't do this without everybody's help. They have awarded 427,127 quilts to date. That's a lot of quilts. Our group has awarded over 200 in the last 4 years. I would like to present 2 quilts today to Major Frank Green and Colonel Ronnie Stuckey. If you could come up here, gentlemen, and stand in front of me. And my ladies will come up with your quilts. I'm going to read a bio about each one. I'm going to start with Mr. Green. Let them, you can turn around and, yeah. I'm not going to do it, they are, and they want to. Major Frank G. Green, U.S. Army, 1970, 1991, Vietnam. Duty stations, Oklahoma, Alabama, Arkansas, Korea, Germany. Served in Vietnam with the 5th Infantry and the 101st Airborne. Has a Bronze Star Award, Air Medal, retired flight instructor pilot. Can you reach him, Beverly? Thank you for your service. Colonel Ronald Stuckey, U.S. Army, 1975 to 2005, Desert Storm. Duty stations, Germany, Camp Minden, Louisiana. Company commander of Company D, 527th Engineer Battalion, Executive Officer and Commander of the 527th Engineer Battalion, Deputy Commander of 225th Engineer Group, Director of Maintenance and Director of Operations of Louisiana Army National Guard, Commander of Camp Minden, Louisiana. Colonel Stuckey is a graduate of the U.S. Army War College. Awards are Bronze Star, Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Liberation of Kuwait, Louisiana War Cross, and Army Parachute Badge. Thank you for your service.
The next person I'm going to introduce to you, I get to serve with on a daily basis. He's the communications director for Saline County. His name is Trevor Valines, and he's also the Saline County 250 Commission chair. Mr. Trevor Valines.
Good morning. It was nearly 250 years ago that a bold group of men, young and old, dared to dream of something that the world had never seen before. A free nation. A nation not built on tyranny, but on liberty. They believed that every person was endowed with certain unalienable rights endowed by their Creator. Among those, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You see, our founding fathers set the tone for what it means to be an American. That we are a nation, a people, defined by perseverance, strength, and resilience. And after nearly 2.5 centuries, our veterans have carried that same spirit with them to every corner of the world, showing that same perseverance, strength, and resilience in defense of freedom. Many paying the ultimate sacrifice so that we could continue to live under those same unalienable rights that were once envisioned in 1776. And here in Bauxite, that same American spirit was found deep underground in the men and women who mined the ore that built our nation and powered victory to the Allied forces and America in World War II. Today, we celebrate that story, one that stretches from the mines to the front lines. We honor those who built, those who fought, and those who sacrificed. Because from the mines to the front lines isn't just the name of the event today, it's the story of America itself. A story of courage and of faith, and unshakable belief in freedom. Over the next 12 months, we will continue to celebrate the story of America and the 250 years of courage, sacrifice, and determination that brought us to this moment. And our Saline County 250 Commission will help us do just that as we honor our past, celebrate our present, and prepare for the semi-quincentennial of the greatest nation on earth. The Saline County 250 Commission was formed with the purpose to plan, promote, and organize events that celebrate America's 250 years of freedom. From our founding ideals to the people that carry them forward today, this commission is helping make history right here at home. If you're a member of the Saline County 250 Commission, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Today's event would not have been possible without their hard work, dedication, and commitment. Nor to our many partners, including our cities, our schools, and community members that came together to make this day a reality. I want to thank a few individuals specifically, including our local school districts, Benton High School with the ROTC, Bauxite Schools with the band and the live stream, Bryant Junior High and the choir, Glen Rose and Harmony Grove for sending students to participate in the pledge, our Chambers of Commerce in Benton and Bryant, the City of Bauxite, Mayor Eddie Jones and his fire department that helped us hang the flags that you see in front of the museum yesterday. Thank you, gentlemen, for your help. Our Saline County legislators, Dr. Russell Burton with the Bauxite Museum, our Never Forgotten Quilts of Valor and Karen Mitchell, Reverend Walt Garrett, Lieutenant Colonel Page, our Saline County Library that helped put together graphics and a set of signs, specifically Carrie Lapp and Cody Berry. The Daughters of the American Revolution, Provincia de la Salle chapter. Thank you, Mindy and Sonia, for your help. The Daughters of the American Revolution, Saline Crossing chapter. Thank you, Belinda and team, for your help in organizing the reception that we will all be celebrating momentarily. VFW Raymond McGill Post 2256. And the Arkansas 250 Commission, chaired by Mr. Secretary Shay Lewis. And also want to thank Director Marty Rowell and Ebony Mitchell and the rest of you that are here from Arkansas 250. This would not be possible without y'all's help. And of course, Mr. Saline County, Shane Broadway. I know Shane's around here somewhere. As we look ahead to celebrate America's 250th year, let's remember that the story of our nation is still being written. Right here in Saline County, in communities much like Bauxite, and by people just like you. From the mines to the front lines, from generation to generation, the strength of America has always come from her people. Over the next year, let's continue to tell that story, boldly, profoundly, and together. Let's show the rest of the country that nobody celebrates America's 250th birthday like we do right here in Saline County. And to learn more about our upcoming events and to be part of this historic celebration, we invite you to visit our website, salinecounty.org/250, and join us as we honor 250 years of freedom, faith, and the enduring spirit of the United States of America. Thank you all.
Thank you, Trevor. Next, I want to introduce somebody that has served tirelessly in this community. His name is Dr. Russell Burton, and I want him to talk about the Bauxite History and Significance Museum and Community Center and all that he has done and this community has done in Saline County. Dr. Russell Burton.
I don't do a whole lot. I have a lot of people that work with me, and they do most of the work. So, most of them will have a staff pin on them today. I promised I would keep my remarks to no more than 10 minutes. So, 2 minutes, okay. The late 1880s and the 1890s marked the birth of the aluminum industry. In this country, there was one major player. It was initially the Pittsburgh Reduction Company. In 1907, they changed their name to the Aluminum Company of America, and then later on to just Alcoa. But around here, it was just referred to as the company. Now, in 1899, the company sent Colonel John Risen Gibbons and his son J. Felton Gibbons from their Georgia operations to Saline County to investigate reports of bauxite deposits in Saline County and in eastern Pulaski County. Colonel Gibbons found extensive bauxite deposits that were very high grade. In fact, 2.5 times richer than the operations that they were doing in Georgia. So the company then started buying property in this area and would eventually own over 14,000 acres in this area. And by 1903, the company had built the first modern crushing and drying mill, one block right over there. By that time, Colonel Gibbons had also established the company town of Bauxite. The company owned everything in the town. And it's my pleasure this morning to introduce 2 great-grandchildren, or great-grandsons, of Colonel Gibbons. Carlton Gibbons, stand please. Carlton is a 1959 graduate of Bauxite High School and came all the way here from Nashville, Tennessee. Secondly, my Pine Haven Elementary and Bauxite Junior High School classmate, Mr. David Cowden. And David has finally moved back to his hometown after a long career and is still working. So, and they are both grandsons of J. Felton Gibbons. So, very special people here today, recognizing bauxite's history. From 1903 to 1940, the company's operations here were to mine the bauxite, crush it, dry it in this mill right over here, and then ship it to East St. Louis, Illinois, to a refining plant. But around 1940, that began to change. The Second World War had broken out in Europe, and after his re-election in 1940, President Roosevelt declared that America would become an arsenal for democracy. So he created a War Plants Board, and that board licensed Alcoa, or the company, to build the world's largest alumina refining plant here in Bauxite. Construction on that plant began with groundbreaking on the 4th of October 1941, and the plant was operational by July 22nd of 1942. The War Department also directed Alcoa to increase their mining operations. So they began mining bauxite around the clock. They built a second crushing and drying mill, mill number 2, to go along with the old mill from 1903. So in 1943 alone, 6 million tons of bauxite was mined right out here within 5 miles of where we're at right now. And that translated into 1.5 million tons of aluminum to make the planes to help win World War II. So the government estimated that there would be a need for 5,000 additional workers in this area to mine the bauxite and to operate the plant and to carry out all the necessary war operations here. There was no housing. The company town of Bauxite had been real stable for years, and it didn't have any additional housing. So people were living in tents, living in barns. They were living out of their automobiles, and if they were lucky enough, they would rent a room to sleep in, either in Benton or Bryant. So the Federal Housing Authority came down here, and they, through the Presidential Emergency War Powers, condemned 400 acres near the plant and built an entire subdivision called Pine Haven. They built housing for 1,100 families. They had a shopping center. They had a medical and dental clinic. They had recreational facilities, and they built an elementary school. All told, during the war years, 41 through 45, the government spent in today's dollars around $800 million here in Bauxite and the surrounding Saline County area. Without that investment, I don't know that World War II could have been won. The U.S. manufactured over 300,000 aircraft during the war. So, and almost all the aluminum came from right here, being mined here, and a lot of it was smelted at Jones Mill outside of Malvern. But after the war, the company town changed dramatically. The company was trying to get out of the business of owning a town, and the population steadily declined. And by 1969, July 1st, the company closed the company town of Bauxite. All that's left from those years are this building here, the building across the street, the Rucker House, which is on the National Historic Register, and through the Arkansas Heritage Commission, we are now in the process of renovating that house. And then the old Bank of Bauxite and Bauxite Post Office building right over here. Our organization owns all this property, about 14 acres here in these three buildings. So as we move forward to celebrate over the next 12 months the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, our association, will also be celebrating the 100th anniversary of this building right over here, our community hall. And I would encourage you to get on the Pick and Shovel Facebook and follow us, and we will have a large celebration around July 3rd or 4th of 2026 to celebrate the dawn of the second century of this grand structure right over here. So thank you all for being here today.
History and significance. The significance of this place is incredible. Please encourage others to come and see the history, the great history, and what it meant to our country, what took place on these grounds. Next, I want to introduce to you somebody that has been extremely busy working around the state and working really around the country with what it means for our 250th birthday of our great country. The America 250 Historical Marker program and the marker itself will be unveiled in just a moment. I can't help but think as Dr. Burton's up here talking about we're going to pay a great birthday to this magnificent building, 100 years, that this marker will be here for hundreds of years to mark the significance of this place. I want to introduce to you the Secretary of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, Secretary Shay Lewis.
Good morning. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you here in Saline County today to celebrate Veterans Day, but also to take a look back at the history of our great state. Arkansas has been known as the natural state, and we have always celebrated the land and resources that define our history. We have a long tradition of placing historical markers to highlight important historic milestones. In fact, some of the oldest historical markers were placed in 1936 when we celebrated our state's centennial anniversary. When Governor Sanders created the Arkansas 250 Commission, this is exactly what she had in mind, was working with communities to celebrate the semi-quincentennial of our nation. This was an idea that came forward and was established, and we wanted to create initiatives that would leave a lasting legacy by highlighting significant historic sites, and felt that continuing the tradition of using historical markers would accomplish that. Even recently, Vice Chair Marty Ryle and I were in Deshay County and came across one of the historical markers from the bicentennial in 1976 that is on display there, and it just reminded us of the power of marking history and reminding others of what has taken place in our great state. One of the agencies within the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, manages our historical marker program. Director Scott Kaufman is here with us today and leads that program. Since that program was created in 2017, we have placed 59 markers across our state. The Arkansas 250 Commission has worked closely with them to choose sites and design markers for this initiative. This first historic marker in Bauxite honors the veterans and natural resources that helped shape both our state and the nation during World War II. It's the first of 11 historic markers that will be placed across our state to mark this momentous occasion of our country's semi-quincentennial. And each will feature a custom design like the one we will unveil today. The first 7 sites include historic Arkansas Post, the Old State House in Little Rock, the Buffalo River, America's first national river, the Louisiana Purchase Historic Site, Crater of Diamonds State Park, and the home of Hattie Caraway. All of these sites have had both significance to Arkansas history and our nation's history. Thank you to the Bauxite Historical Association Museum, the Saline County 250 Commission, the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program, and my fellow commissioners here today. There are a few of us here today. We have Tanya Mims, Ebony Mitchell, Marty Ryle, and Sherry Jones that will be joining us in just a minute to unveil this marker. I'd like to also thank all of the partners who contributed to this initiative and extend my thanks to the students and veterans who have joined us here today. Thank you for being here. I'm excited. Be on the lookout for what Arkansas 250 will be doing this next year. Thank you very much.
All right, we're ready to unveil this marker. There was something real significant there. There's 75 counties, over 570 cities in the state of Arkansas. This city of Bauxite is the first historical marker of only 11 in the state of Arkansas, and we're all here to see it unveiled. Let's do it. I'm not tall enough to reach it. Let's get some people over here that are. You tell me when you're ready, and I'm going to count to 3 and have your cameras ready. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all for being a part of this historic and monumental day. Thank you. The Bauxite Band, this is one of my favorite parts. The Bauxite Band is about to play a patriotic medley. And we have somebody that's supposed to be joining me up here. As your branch is played, if you served in that branch, if you would, please stand. I present to you the Bauxite Band.
United States Army. United States Marines. United States Air Force. United States Space Force. United States Coast Guard.
What a beautiful morning. You had a choice this morning on what you were going to do on this Veterans Day, and you chose to be here. Right after this, at 11 o'clock, we will, a few of us, going to the Saline County Courthouse at the Veterans Memorial there, as we expect that there will be veterans that will show up. You know, this is my third year as Saline County judge, and every time we have one of these type events, boy, it just encourages me so much of the greatness of our community, our county, our state, and our country. I hope that it does the same for you. Young people, I remember it was March of 2023. We did a Vietnam Memorial Veterans Day event at that Veterans Memorial on the courthouse lawn. That medley was played and sung by some choir members from the Benton School District. I remember because a couple of them were my kids. They were seniors, and they stood there, and it was just heartwarming to see my kids engage and participate in something that paid tribute and honor to those that we can't fully say thank you enough for giving us the ability to live in a country that's free, a county that's great, with neighbors that are just worth serving. See, one of those kids of mine was named Josh Brumley, and something changed in him those days as he began to engage with veterans and finding more and more out about the military and what it meant to serve. Point of personal privilege, that young man, my son, Josh Brumley, is at Lackland Air Force Base, where I know you've spent some time. as he is now an airman for the United States Air Force. I tell you that for this. People are put in specific places for specific reasons. And we're given opportunity to do things, and none of them are meaningless. All of them have an impact. Saying good morning, saying hello. Can I get a door for you? Can I serve you in some way? You young people, your lives are worth so much, and they're so valuable. And all of these veterans that have stood up today, God used them in a mighty way. And they used them today that we can stay here in a free country. We can go back to our homes. And most of all, we can do what God has in store for us and be used and serve others. Thank you, veterans. Thank you, community leaders like those bauxite miners that made things that make airplanes fly, that allows us not to speak German today, but to say good morning in America, in the greatest country in the world. Go in this 100-year-old building, let somebody with a badge like that tell you, and then bring somebody to the next great event in Saline County or in this country to say thank you to our veterans. God bless you, and have a great Veterans Day.
Oh, yes. And we invite you to join us inside for a America 250 reception. We have drinks and food as well. Thank y'all.